Oh, okay, so here I am back again now, and I'll just show you the colour. That's the colour I just cut out of that bottle, of that tube. It's very similar to that, so I don't know if it's going to be satisfying, but I wanted to open it anyway. Yeah, I still think it needs a bit more of the purpley violet kind of hint to it. So I put in some of that violet, ultramarine violet. Anyway, I intend to carry this on tomorrow, so I can maybe have a look around for a colour that more closely matches. And then, see this as being mostly just the drawing. Extends over the vase a little here, and then quite thin. Maisie's going out with the dog walker today. I think she must have heard her coming up the road. Are you going to go with Kaylee today, Maisie? Anyway, there's something like that kind of a shape that makes that flower. And then this one over here, which is just about going to fit in. And it's maybe needing to be a little bit higher in relation to this flower here. Yeah, it's quite a bit higher actually. If that flower is going to be that high, maybe this flower isn't that high. I don't think it is. I think it needs to be lowered down. And even made smaller this way too. So I might as well just lift off that now that I've decided it. It's good too because it gives me a bit more space between that and the other leaf. I'm just using clean solvent. It's low odor solvent I'm using. And I think I'll change. Actually, no, I don't think I need to change it where the center is. It might be that this just bends down slightly more and comes in slightly more here. And go back to drawing the other one now, which doesn't now need to be so much higher. So the lower half of that one, the lowest petal on this flower on the left is just a tiny bit below the highest petal on that one. And maybe it comes up to about there. And it's kind of diagonally going back that way, so I'm just adjusting the shape a little bit. And I think I can come back here a little bit more. I don't think it needs to be quite so close to the edge there, because this is longer than it needs to be. Yeah, so I think the flower might come from here. Yeah, maybe back a little bit more. I feel like as soon as I've made some sense of the position of things, that I could leave it until tomorrow then to do more in terms of colour and tone. Although I would like to try a little bit of the table colour. I put my blue scarf underneath it because I prefer it to the tablecloth, especially since I've got chalk all over the tablecloth after yesterday's play about. I made a picture of these yesterday as well, but it was mixed media, so there was a lot of chalk and there was no paint actually. It was a little bit of Indian ink, chalk and oil pastel and collage. It's on video if you wanted to see it. It's on YouTube as well. And I just added one more pink flower and some more yellow flowers for painting it today. It's a little flower that's about to open, or maybe it's already closed, a withered one. There. Okay. I think I might even put a thin layer of white on for this flower up here, just so that it's not got all that green to fight against when I do put the pink on brightly later. So hopefully a thin layer of white here will dry fairly quickly and let me paint something richer over it. I say a thin layer of white, but I've made it kind of mauve because of the colour that was on the brush already, and it's not at all the colour I'd be wanting for that flower, because that flower is so much brighter and more striking. But I think it's still marginally better than the green that was underneath it. So for now I feel happier to have done that. Just trying to get the particular curve of the table. So I'm winking at the flowers here now with my right eye is closed. I'm going to see about getting the position of the darks there again. More slanted, I think. So I'm using the brown and blue mix. And I can use it here too, where these two flowers meet. There's a triangle of dark. At the back of this trumpeting flower out to the left, and between it and the more withered looking flower there. And it pulls back the table generally so that it's more in that line there. There's a much longer space here than I'm trying to see what happens here. Yeah, so that flower needs to be higher up, because I was noticing there's a big gap here. So this flower here is actually about there. Yeah, and the shape of that triangle is such that it goes up a bit more steeply. So this will be dark as well. And then this will be the light trumpety flower. There. Okay. And just carry on now and hope for the best here. Yeah, there's another bit of dark until we meet this flurry of leaves, which I think will be best described by just leaving the green for now anyway. That's already on the board. So there's a greenery there. There's a lovely, very thin leaf there. And then below this will be the blue table. But there's another leaf here. I might as well give an outline to, so that we know that that dark is background dark. I'll just come back in for some of these greens now to place them. Yeah, so there's this green. Half of that green leaf is very dark. The top half is light. Just wanted to use it as a landmark. And then there's another little one above it. And there-ish. And then there's a third one here that actually extends beyond the table, so the table needs to come in still further. Yeah, it needs to come in here as well. That's good because it reduces the size then of the space here. Okay. Yeah. And this will all be green. Okay. And then there's some yellowy shapes of the flower in the background, I think. Back there. And of course there's the yellows over there as well. I might use some lemon yellow mixed with the cadmium yellow for those flowers. And really I could have done with a clean brush now, but I've already started. And I feel like I was getting away with it. Not really, no I'm not. I'm not getting away with it. It's getting dirty looking. I don't want these flowers to be dirty looking. So just scoop them up. And pick up a cleaner brush that hasn't been used yet today. If I can find one that's small enough. Lemon yellow and cadmium yellow. It's not such a huge difference between them, but I think I definitely need the lemon yellow for this beautiful bright flower. And it extends up here with a bit of a channel of table colour in between. It's especially good when you can, if you want a bright yellow, if you've got white already on the panel underneath it, because it really, the white kind of increases the brightness of the yellow. So I'm going to make this as white as I can before putting the yellow on it. As clean as I can anyway. And there's another little bit there that's got yellow. So there's a yellow here. That bit is more cadmium yellow. And then the inside bit is more lemon yellow. And this bit I think is more lemon yellow too. I need to put on my glasses now. I'm starting to get a bit pernickety here. It's a bit like, you know, when you're putting on makeup or something, you put on your glasses and you realize, oh, my skin isn't as dewy, as pure and young looking as I thought it was. You can see the little hairs on the chin and all those things that are obliterated with bad eyesight. So, and it's a bit like that here, because I've just put my glasses on and now I can see far more clearly what's been happening. And edges aren't as clean as I had thought they were. but it's okay. I think it's okay. Kind of painterly, I suppose. And I'll just carry on putting on the yellow-green. I think they get a bit yellow-green over here, those flowers. Well, maybe not that much green. Still more yellow than green though. But there's a little flurry of them extending over the vase here. Just finding the general shape of them, and I can get the starry kind of quality of them later. A bit more pure lemon yellow I'm needing now, I think. There's a couple of areas that are it's really bright. That kind of white yellow that lemon yellow has. Of course, I think a lot of this, a lot of these lighter colours will be explained by painting the dark up to meet them. Just going to put a touch of white into the centre of that pink flower. It's got quite a bright little section in the centre there. Yellowish bright, but it is significantly whiter, I think, than the starry flowers around. There's a touch of something like that up here too, the bottom of the trumpet. Just trying to keep it clean of the magenta colour. Just clean it up a bit at the edge too there. I'll make just a tiny bit more of it to catch that last little touch at the top left of that shape. And magenta really wants to get in there. And I really don't want it to adulterate this colour. I like that greenish hint at the bottom of the trumpet. And then I suppose in that one there'll be a touch of it too. It's maybe more pinky on this one, but I'll just focus on the bits that I can see that are light greenish yellow. I can put the pinky light in later. Okay. I think just kind of bring it forward a fair bit now if I was to do some of that blue. It's on the tabletop in between, just here. So I think I'll give myself the task of doing that for the next little while. I'm getting paint everywhere here. But before I start doing the tablecloth, I want to make a bit more sense of this edge. What is that? Yeah, the lighter one there. Okay, comes down a bit lower, the dark. Where the table stops and the curtain behind it starts is the line. That's the line I'm trying to capture there again. And it's funny because up here it's almost the same colour as the table is in the shadows. There's a bit at the table there too. Okay, I may as well try and make that table colour next. So I'll use a bit of ultramarine blue. think a touch of the violet ultramarine as well. I'll just try that even. A bit more of the violet, just because of the green underneath. It's kind of, I don't want it to go green. And I'll see if I can find the shape of the flower here. There's a little bulb to it. There's a bit that's, yeah, like, I might put a tiny bit of white into that blue so they can see it a bit more clearly, even although it's in shadow there. Just to be sure I've got a good colour for it as well. Put a bit more ultramarine in. You can just about see it as I'm mixing it, can't you? Okay, and now I'm going to use it to capture the edge of the flower, even although I will be painting the flower again too, like in a bit more, hopefully a brighter pink. If I can find one that'll work. So this is the shadow on the tablecloth. And it's coming down to meet those beautiful starry flowers and creating all kinds of edges there that are fizzing with life. But it'll be kind of tricky, I think, for me to stop the yellow getting mixed up in the table colour. So I might not get too close until I've tried just a little bit more. And then what happens down here is that the tablecloth begins to get brighter down here. Yeah, as we travel down the painting. So I'm going to see now about making that light blue table colour. I think it's not far off this. Just the blue, the ultramarine blue and the ultramarine violet mixed with some white. I think that's quite a good colour for the light. A little bit of brown got mixed in as well, but it's no harm, I think, because it is quite a, it's a kind of almost like a dusty blue, I suppose you could say, or smoky kind of. Okay, I'm going to try it anyway, see. I mean, it is quite bright, like, it's brighter than this leaf here, for example. Let's see now. But it's really much brighter, and I don't know if this colour is quite getting the brightness of the tablecloth. Let's see, I'll put some up here, near that blue. Sorry, near that yellow. It's not completely bright up here. Well, the bit that I'm seeing that's quite bright alright is at the edge of the table. So I think it would be worthwhile putting some in here, because at the moment it's very green and I want it to be light blue. I think I still need to make it brighter, whiter, lighter. And even although it's not completely the right colour yet, it feels satisfying to have some area that's opaque and bringing clarity in the midst of all these various colours and things. So where am I going now? I think here is this panel of blue table, and then there's a little triangle there, and another little space between making those two leaves. And keep the faith now and keep going, and just hopefully we'll figure out what's going on here. Kind of describing some of these leaves by painting up to the edge of them. Colour of the tablecloth up to the edge of them, I mean. I'm calling it a tablecloth, but you know it's a scarf. Right, there's a lovely light bit now under here that I think is quite a descriptive shape. It meets this other leaf, so the negative space between these two leaves is created by the blue of the table. Okay, it's quite a concentrated exercise in seeing. I think it was Ian Simpson who said that first in his book Drawing, Seeing and Observation. And yeah, there's this blue here as well. Yeah, Ian Simpson said drawing is a concentrated exercise in seeing, observational drawing. I might go to a different part of the painting now and see if it would help to put some of that light blue colour to the right of the vase there. I think it's about here. And it just kind of gradually meets the darker blue. And there's a little withered buttercup that's separating the dark and the light blue a little bit here at the edge of the pot. That buttercup, it will need to be cadmium yellow, or even a touch of cadmium red in it maybe. Carry on down the side of the pot. The thing is, the pot now is significantly darker than the tabletop is. So it's going to be darker here. And see if I can do something for the rim of the pot, using the brown and blue mix with some white. I think that'll be a fairly good colour to describe this kind of the cast shadow of that buttercup on the rim of the pot. And then the dark of it below the rim as it meets the tabletop. It's really quite dark there, you know. And I might just take a bit of the blue out of that with the same dark, because it's not quite that blue, that shadow. Maybe a bit more sense of the pot will be helpful too. Around the front here. So there's a section here below the rim that's quite, it's kind of a grey blue dark. Maybe give it a bit more of a blue hint to it there. It meets the yellow flowers, chiseling their shape out a little bit. And then this comes down around that dark colour there, continues around the rim below the yellow. And the rim gets a bit thinner here. A bit more blue. I didn't put out any new paint today. I must have put out way too much for the last painting in oil that I did. What was the Charlotte Square painting? I didn't know what I was doing with that. I think I've abandoned that ship. Whether it's finished or not, I think I've done all I want to do with it. I can hardly tell that there's two tones to this phase. There's a lighter bit below. So I'm just going to, in the shadows, make it all one colour. I might find a bit more now of that nice light blue. Because I think the tabletop blue needs to be brighter where it meets the dark of the vase. It seems that it's like a little bit like fitting jigsaw pieces into each other with one eye closed. think I'll continue the jug, the vase, on this side. It's a bit bumpy there because I'd used a stencil with the acrylic, but I kind of like the pattern of the bumpiness. Now it doesn't want to be the same colour as the tabletop, so I'm going to bring some more brown into that, into the vase colour to make it different from the table blue. And it comes down here, something like that. And it'll go around and disappear, the rim of it. There's a kind of a grey colour. And it'll curve around there. I think. I'm not 100% sure now about this edge. I think I'll just leave it until I know if I definitely have to put it in, I might be fine without it. But I think I do want to put more blue in to define the tabletop a little bit more clearly there on that left side. So I'm just mixing some clean ultramarine blue now with white. I just want to clarify up this area here. You never know when you're doing a thing if it's the right thing or not, but you're going to have to take the plunge with things, aren't you? I know people say if you did it once you can do it again, but sometimes it is tricky to get back to it'll be a different thing you do again, like, and that's okay too, isn't it? Yeah, there'd be all that green in there, a bit more dark here. I mean, I think maybe that's a bit distracting, so I might just fill that in a bit, even if I fill it in with green. No, I think I'll use the green just to generally put something in here that's greenish. There's quite a bit of green on this brush. And generally this is, with my eyes half closed, a fairly dark area of green in general. You can always lighten up the bits that are brighter later on. But I want things to read as being tonally fairly accurate alongside each other before I let this one rest for the night. Day and night. This is morning time. I am talking about night. Okay. There's a little green leaf there too. Just hides behind that flower. mix up some more of the dark colour, because I'd say maybe I just need to put something dark, the blue and brown mix, in for the background. Just paint the edge of that leaf first. There's some little touches that are extending over the edge of the tabletop that could be cleared up a little bit. And of course I'll paint them green that they are as well later on, hopefully. For now I'll just try and pick out a couple of those things that are happening at the edges. And yeah, I think I will cover over some of the pattern that's there. Because it's proving a bit of a distraction to me. As I say, no, not everywhere. I don't know if I need to cover it everywhere, but just maybe even a thin kind of a wash over that bit. So I know it's a bit ugly looking now, but hopefully the flowers, once they're done, will make up for any ugliness that's there. And I think I could just spread it out with a rag even. What I mean about the flowers making up for ugliness is like that maybe this will just be, subdued and in the background, when the brightness of the bright contrast between the flowers and the background hopefully will let the background do something helpful. A touch more dark in there. It's mostly ultramarine blue now, that colour. And this flower is actually going kind of horizontally across like that. So the background colour will come down a bit more over this bit. And in the little channel there. And then in the triangular space there. I think that's what's happening there. And the beautiful bright edge of that flower will hopefully be clarified again tomorrow. It's the kind of thing, if I was using mixed media, I might put bright pink collage paper on it, or draw with fluorescent pink ink or something. That'd probably make half of you sick. And the other half smile. I don't know. And I'd say I might leave it at this point now for the day. It's funny, this is one of those paintings that I haven't stood back at all. I just have kept kind of seeing if I can kind of place things so that they feel convincing to me. And sometimes I'd be saying, so important to build in time to stand back and build in pauses and all of that. And here I'm not doing that at all, but it feels like the right thing to do, to kind of head down, keep going, try and find because of all the carry on in the background, there's quite a bit to kind of consolidate, I suppose, or something, manage. And so it seemed fine for me to just keep my head down and work away. I would like to bring something of that colour into this flower before I finish, because I want them, even although the colour isn't as satisfying as what I would like it to be, it would make the flowers work together, I think, for them to have a similar tone. And just let me know that that's also one of those flowers. So I'm using the magenta with white. And there's a lot more magenta on that piece than there was in the first bit. Some parts of the flower are a bit more colourful than others. But as I say, even just to kind of give a nod towards it being the same flower as the one up above, by bringing some of this pinkish colour into it, feels like a good thing to me before I finish up this morning. I'll be doing a flower painting course online in September. It's 6-week flowers and mixed media online course. It's lovely at that time of the year because there's an abundance of growth everywhere, and I love to especially paint things that grow in my own garden. I'll do the same over here. Now I know it's not the satisfying brightness of the beautiful flower, but it's at least giving it some bit of pink. And I think I might use that. What will I do there now? Yeah, so the curve of the pot kind of comes down around here on that side. And just even to indicate it, maybe bringing some of that pink down into the pot is no harm either. So the living room, despite my best efforts with the low odour thinner and everything, it'll still smell like oil paint, I reckon, for the next 24 hours. And I'm heading away then on Thursday morning to Ireland for a few days for a Yoga Nidra retreat of all things. So I hope to have finished this before I go, like enough that I can just tidy everything away. And I suppose if it came to it, I could take a photograph of it if I wanted to do any more detail to it. Not sure about that pink stripe there. Here, I might leave it, sure. I'll make a decision about it tomorrow. No, I won't. I'm just going to scrub it off. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. And I lift it up for you to see it a little bit more in the position I was looking at it from. I'll stop there for now anyway, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll carry on working with the oil paint, I'd say. I don't have any choice now, anyway, sure. After you start with oil paint, you kind of have to keep going with it. What is that? Paint. Okay, so thanks for being with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's good to be doing a bit every day again now. And let me know if you'd like me to share with you the photograph of the flowers that I'm working from, if you want to join me painting them. Okay, bye.